Welcome to the Take Action Now Summit. You will discover groundbreaking strategies for personal and business growth with leading experts and innovators. Today, transform forward. Step into 2024 with confidence. Strengthen your network, build relationships, and develop awareness and skills. Join our 21 world-class speakers and experience inspiration, hope for your future, and an elevation of your ambitions. Inspired Choices Network, our summit hosts, are excited to have you here.
Hey, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. To me, this is my life's work, and I am a little bit prejudiced, but I believe the conversation of genius in each of our lives is the most important conversation that we can be having. I have been a facilitator of transformation for 29 years in all sorts of capacities. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the most important thing that each of us can do is literally grab our mandate, the mandate that we were handed from the universe to be who we came to be our gifts, to give our gifts. The energy of genius, when you come upon it inside yourself, meaning that when you are doing an activity that expresses a lot of your unique capacities, your very vibration will rise. You will have so much energy. Why? Because your entelechy, it's a Greek word that means the blueprint of who you came to be, okay? That entelechy, like the acorn has the entelechy of the oak tree, meaning it has the blueprint for the oak tree. Each of us came with a blueprint of what we were here to be, what gifts we were here to give. And so when you make the commitment to discover, to learn, to grow, to engage your genius, your body will turn on, you'll be more healthy, you will be more alive, you will have more joy, and it actually will happen very quickly. And why is that? Because the entirety of creation itself, the entirety of creation is wanting, desiring you to be that. Because if you're not who you came to be, there ain't nobody else. There's no extras that can fill in for you because you are the only one that has your unique abilities and capacities. So it's a very interesting thing. Like for me, like the process of self-love and self-compassion has been difficult, but it actually is required to sustain genius, right? But that is something that discovering your genius is actually way, way easier because that's your blueprint. You were designed to be it. So what is genius? What do I mean by that? So it's very, very misunderstood. Genius is not just, so people go, oh, like, does it mean I'm a teacher? I'm a this? Maybe, but it's not, that's the vehicle. Because if you notice, like somebody who's genius at what they do, they're very unique in how they do that thing. So for me, coaching and facilitating and speaking is a platform or a vehicle where more of my genius can come forward. So as a teacher, your genius qualities might be kindness. It might be the ability to speak in a way that people understand, right? Or another teacher's genius might be empowerment, right? And inspiration. So it's not so much the task, although we can look at tasks like, what is it that you do? When you do it, you have more energy after you do it than before. What activities do you do where time disappears? These are genius questions. What did you love to do as a child? And if you were actually to get out, in fact, I would invite you to get out a journal and write those questions down. Because when you ask those questions, you start seeing it's, okay, so I love to climb trees. Oh, okay, cool. But what was the quality? What happened when you climbed a tree, right? I worked with a gal once, and the only thing she remembered as a child was that she loved to climb poles. Well, as it turned out, she ended up becoming a pole dancer, and she got hired for Barnum and Bailey Circle to be the Barnum and Bailey Circus to be the cannon girl. Out of that one question, like, who knew that was going to go there? And that is the beauty about genius, is it's so expansive. It is your connection to all that is. It is your connection to the universe, and it is your connection to profit, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But asking the genius questions, because here's the thing, you're an infinite being. And so your entelechy is infinite. Your capacities are infinite. It's not one and done. It's not like, I'm a genius. I'm 29 years into coaching and transformation, and I feel like I'm just getting started with uncovering it, because every area of your life, you have strengths to bring to that area. Once you understand that it is your unique capacities underneath the activity that actually generate, it's like the engine that creates. Once you get that, you can bring genius, your genius capacity, to any area. When you're in your genius, people are transformed and changed in your presence. It creates transformation so fast. So no matter what you're doing, you have genius to bear. I'm going to tell a really quick story about that. I was challenged by a friend of mine to sing with the band, okay, which is a form of karaoke, but it's with a live band in a live club, okay? And I told her that she was really cute because I don't sing. From the time I was little, I was told that I must have like a tin ear or something, because my mom said I was tone deaf. So I never sang, never, ever, ever sang. And my friend, I actually can't remember her last name right now. Her name is Julie. Maybe it'll come to Julie Blake. She was a voice coach, and she was like an empowerment coach. And so she said, I triple dog dare you. And I was like, oh no, because one of my geniuses is not being able to say no to triple dog dares. And she goes, I will coach you. All right. I will have you ready. And the thing that excited me about it, number one, is I knew that it would be helpful to open my voice. Right. Number two, I'm a showboat. So anytime I can get in front of an audience, right? Like, I love that. That something about my genius activates when I'm with people. And then I said, when is it? And she goes, 2 weeks. And I was like, oh crap. I was so scared and so nervous. And I had, like, I think 3 voice lessons, including prep for the day of between then. And I'm telling you, I sing bad in the shower. Horrible. So what the hell was I going to do? So what I know is that I'm a performer. Like, I have an ability to come on stage and some energy turns on and I can perform things. So I decided to perform instead of sing, essentially, knowing that I picked a really hard song by Melissa Etheridge. And if any of you know her, like, I don't know, like, professional singers can match her. But it was the song I wanted to sing. It was the song I wanted to sing. Well, I get to the club, and it's an Irish pub on St. Paddy's Day. The place was packed. There were like 2 capacity. I would bet there was 400 people in there. And I'm there with all these professional singers. And I'm like, oh, and I just, in my heart, I know, I trust genius, man. I trust it. I'm like, just go perform the hell out of this, Megan. Just go perform it. So I got on stage and I had people screaming for encores. I was embarrassing the guitarist because I was dancing up and down on him, on his leg. And the house was freaking out. And all the singers, the professional singers behind me, were scared to go on because I killed it. I sung horrible. But nobody cared because I played my strength. And I want you to know that you have a genius in profit and money and creation and business and anything that you've decided that you can't be and you can't do. You need to call forward, what strength can you play here in any area of your life? The universe didn't go, okay, well, we'll give her the entelechy only for half of what it takes to live life. I'm only going to give her a lot of gifts, but I'm not going to give her any gifts with money and ability to take care of herself. Universe doesn't do that. You have gifts to profit. And I'm going to talk about profit now for a minute. People really, really misunderstand profit. The original definition was to be mutually beneficial. In fact, I think it was yielding spiritual or moral benefit. That's the original definition of profit. And if your gifts can't connect with another human, then how are you going to give it to the world? Profit is the portal that you create that allows the world to connect with your gift. Feel into that for a minute. Like, how many of you have made profit this bad thing, or I got to figure out how to do the money. Well, yeah, if you're playing from your back foot, i.e., not your strengths, not your genius, that's going to be overwhelming. You want to ask, what genius capacity do I have that can help me be successful at this? So you have a capacity to profit. You were designed to yield your spiritual gifts and to have yield from your spiritual gifts. You are designed. And in fact, the more time you spend in your genius, the more capacity you have to profit. Genius, when you're in genius, it is the highest ratio of abundance for time spent, meaning that when you're living in your genius, when you're doing something that's genius, you have the highest potential to profit in that space than anywhere else. So for instance, this is my genius. This is one of my geniuses. Like and there's unique ways that I do this. I'm different than every speaker on here, and every speaker's different than me. We're all unique. That's what's beautiful about this summit, right? Is we all have unique gifts to share, even though we're all talking into a mic. Okay. So when you ask your genius to come forward, or when you're in your genius, right? Like for me, if you're working with me, if you just call and ask for a session, that's $700 an hour. Does it make sense for me to be doing my back end technology, which I'm really, really bad at, which frustrates me and takes a lot of time and takes me 10 times as much time as somebody who is good at that? Does it make sense? That's what I mean for highest ratio of abundance for time spent. The more time you spend in your genius, the more you will profit, because the universe is going to pay you through your portals of profit for living in your genius, for living in your entelechy. That's why if you can literally make a whole body commitment to the next level of your genius, there will be a magic that is uncommon. There will be an invisible army, spiritual army that will come forth. And I don't mean to be religious. I just mean energetic. When you say yes, when you say go on your genius, yeah, I want it. I'm living there. I'm having that. Energy organizes itself in your direction. You get happier. You get more joyful because you're being what you're designed to be in the universe. And the universe is waiting for all of us to take up that mandate, to be what we came to be, to take up the mantle of our unique gifts and abilities. And by the way, that's where you have the most ability to profit, because it is the most generative. Genius, like look at the root, gene, generative. It's an engine. And when you are expressing from that place, things are drawn to you. People are drawn to you in ways that they aren't if you're suffering and doing stuff that you're not good at. I learned many, many years ago, I'm not a marketer, but I had to ask myself, what do I love to do? That when I do it, time disappears. I started teaching a community class. I love teaching. And that community class I taught for 15 years. And my calendar was booked with sessions the entire time. because I was doing what I loved to market. I was doing my genius to market my genius. And that, my friends, is the genius path to profit. What genius do you have that will allow you to create that profit portal that will allow people to find you and to see you? So if you are like, I don't know what my genius is, then the commitment you can make, and write this down, I commit to discover and know my genius. Feel it in every cell of your body. What I mean by a whole body commitment is literally slow down, let it drop in like a penny in a slot machine, right? Or maybe a dollar. I don't know if there's penny slots anymore. Okay. If you know your genius, but it's like you're only living there 20% of the time. By the way, when I first heard this material from Gay Hendricks, my number was 20%. I was probably in my genius 20%. And so the next level commitment is I commit to live in my genius most of the time. That felt really big to me. That felt really, really big to me, but I made it. And I only hung it out in that commitment for about 3 or 4 days, because the highest level of commitment you can make to your genius was so enticing to me that I had to step fast and hard. And it was, I commit to living in my genius in a way that inspires others that inspires and activates others to do the same. So to be a walking poster child for genius, that's what I made the commitment for. And I tell you that commitment, it made me shake, because when you do that, you're calling up the forces of the universe, the forces of your spirit and soul that have been waiting for you to show up. That commitment, I chose to say it in front of an entire group of people while I was going through the Hendricks. It was probably 100 people. And I knew I needed to say it out loud. I knew I needed to say it where other people could hear me. And I was shaking. I was shaking, like, because my system was transforming. When you make a whole body commitment, you will have those kinds of feelings. Don't worry if you go to make one of these commitment statements and you don't feel that. It's just that you need to practice. You need to, like, really get it into every cell of your body. You need to look at, what will the world be like in 5 years if I choose this? What will the world be like if I don't choose to give my gifts? You start finding a way to get really intentional about it. I would also recommend, so you could write it down. You could write the commitment down. You could speak it out loud. You could write it with both hands to get it in your brain. But for all the money, I would say it in front of somebody or in front of somebody's. I can't even tell you, like, how hard I shook that day and how my life has changed since that moment that I chose that. And it's so fun, you guys. I learn about new genius abilities and capacities every single day, because every single day I'm asking the question, what capacity wants to come forward today for me to be my greatness? What capacity wants to come forward today for me to be my greatness? But don't ask that question, because, it'll only, like, change everything. I find new genius capacities all the time. And as I do, my engine gets stronger. Your engine gets stronger every time you ask. And that's the cool thing. It's like, you don't have to go do 10 push-ups. You don't have to go do. You simply have to commit and ask the universe to show me my genius. Commit to it with your heart and soul. And I promise you, the invisible forces that will show up in your life will blow you away. And remember that even in the areas that you don't feel strong, that you have a genius, you have a magic, you have a capacity that will help you through it, right? Even if that capacity is the ability to find people who are really good at the stuff you're not. I am a genius for that, right? So I literally go, okay, who can help me with this? That's one of my geniuses. It's not about trying to do it all. And in fact, this is a secret that a lot of people in the industry don't talk about. I was on a call with about 12 millionaires and billionaires. And this was like actually right before I discovered the genius work. And the interviewer was asking them what they attributed to their success. And guess what? They all had a different way. They all argued about how success happened. So please don't let anybody tell you the right way to success. There's your way to success. But the one thing that they agreed on was that they did what they were good at, and they found other people that were better than them at the things they weren't good at. And I can tell you from experience, from thousands of people, from talking to the most successful people on the planet, that is by far the most important step that any of us can take to living a life of profit, of prosperity, of joy, of creativity, and of service and contribution. If you're not being who you're designed to be, you can't connect with those places and spaces and portals where you can generate wealth for yourself and profit for yourself. What is your genius way to profit? I'm asking that. I invite you to ask that question of yourself. What is my genius way to profit? Right now, I'm working on scaling my business. I've never done it because I've been kind of tech adverse, right? And so I just keep asking, okay, what is my way? And it's interesting, all the people that are showing up right now to support me, to do what they're best at, to give their genius in support of my genius. And that, my friends, is the kumbaya of the universe, is that when we're all living in our genius, contributing to each other's genius, just like on this summit, the life force that you will feel in your body will heal things, will grow things, will shift your body composition. It is such a force. Now, the second thing I want you to do is I want you to make a wholehearted commitment to feel good. Because if you're unconsciously committed to suffering, you won't allow genius to run through your body very much or very often. If you look at history, people that were genius in the past, they kind of went a little bit cuckoo because they didn't know how to run that energy through their body. Nobody else was. And we were still all about pain and suffering, right? So you have to make a commitment to profit, to your genius, and to joy. And I promise you. In fact, I don't need to promise you. I just know. I know that your life will change in ways you can't fathom and you can't see right now. Whatever it is, you have a strength to overcome what's happening in any area of your life. You have a genius. You've been given capacities to address every single challenge imaginable, and you have genius to create any dream imaginable. But you've got to be willing to claim it and own it and value it and speak it and every day take the steps to grow, to look at and come from that place. There is nothing that I do now that I don't call my genius into action and say, okay, what genius can come and play in this? I did this before this summit. I didn't know what I was going to say. Let my genius talk. All right, you guys. Thank you. Please take action on committing to your genius. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for joining this inspirational talk on the Take Action Now Summit. Inspired Choices Network and our expert speakers are excited to connect with you and learn about your desires to evolve and grow in 2024. If you'd like to learn more about everything Inspired Choices Network offers, including future summits, please email us at info@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.